Hello there, I'm Shaun McLaren, and today I'll be playing some Modern with this sweet little brew I've cooked up. The main idea of the deck is to evolve Allosaurus Rider after you've pitched 2 green cards to put it into play, and evolve Allosaurus Rider into Gristlebrand or Craterhoof Behemoth or Primeval Titan, or one of these lovely targets post-board, but we'll get to that in a bit. So ideally you go Elf turn 1, and then turn 2 you pitch 2 green cards, and then evolve the Allosaurus Rider. Of course that's Magical Christmas Land, you get Gristlebrand, you draw 7 cards, yada yada yada, win the game. And yeah, Summoner's Pact can also allow that to happen. If you're missing the Allosaurus Rider, you can pact for Allosaurus Rider, but then you wouldn't be able to pay for your pact, which means you have to get Primeval Titan to pay for the pact, which it's turn 2 Primeval Titan is still pretty good, especially since there are some nice lands you can get like Horizon Canopy or Pendelhaven or even Forbidden Orchard. So you can turn that early advantage into card draw if you need it, since you're pitching most of your hand to do that anyways. The rest of the deck is a bunch of elves, obviously. A bunch of elves. So yeah, basically just trying to accelerate and draw cards, cycle with Elvish Visionary. Potentially you can also evolve into Azuri or Summoner's Pact into Azuri if you don't have any other gas. And another way to get some value from all your elves is with Beck Call, which is basically Glimpse of Nature. Beck is you draw a card whenever a creature enters the battlefield, which is better than Glimpse in a couple ways, because it triggers on tokens entering the battlefield or Eldritch Evolution searching up a creature. So Forbidden Orchard actually draws you a card when you tap it for mana after you've cast Beck, and so does Dryad Arbor if you search it up with a fetch land, and so does whatever you get off of Eldritch Evolution. And you can also get an extra little boost with Allosaurus Rider. You can draw a card with Allosaurus Rider even if you're tapped out. You can still continue drawing cards. And Allosaurus Rider is actually an elf, so it's very good with Heritage Druid as well. If you have 2 elves in play, but not enough mana to get a third one, you can sneak an Allosaurus Rider into play sometimes and tap for extra 3 mana and evolve the Allosaurus Rider, ideally. So that's actually a nice little combo. Yeah, that's basically the main deck. The sideboard is a bunch of Eldritch Evolution targets. We have Elish Norn against like Infect decks, small weenie decks, generally creature decks of any kind that are going to die to Elish Norn, like Merfolk or Zoo. Iona is great against like Infect as well. Any monocolor deck, it's certainly a consideration, because when you can evolution into Iona, and it's better than Gristlebrand, assuming they can't play any spells, obviously. It's also for removal heavy decks like Jund. You name black and then they can't kill it. Glenalendra is a good value evolution target to transform from your 2-drops into Glenalendra against counter decks, which are a problem since Remanding or Mana Leaking in Eldritch Evolution after pitching cards to Allosaurus Rider is a value nightmare, a value black hole. Eidolon of Rhetoric against combo decks, nice. Dismember for dealing with any problem creatures. Loaming Shaman against Dredge decks, Living End, what have you. Reclamation Sage for affinity or any problem enchantments or artifacts. Kataki for affinity. Malira for infect. Scavenging Ooze for the Dredge decks, or Snapcaster Mage decks, or even Tarmogoyf decks. Spellskite, great against Boggles, Burn, that sort of thing, or if you need to protect your pieces. Essence Warden for Burn, and yeah, if you ever need a little extra life gain. So yeah, that's the basic premise. Not too sure how great the deck is. It's obviously going to be volatile, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll join me on this wild ride. Let's get to it.